Hey there friends, what's going on? It's Codiak here, back for another Assassin's Creed Valhalla video, and today we're talking about the St. George set. This is the brand new set of gear introduced in Title Patch 1.1.2, also known as the River Raids. And you guys know me, I am all about efficiency, so today I'm showcasing the exact locations, the combat required to get to those pieces of gear, and of course, if you have any questions along the way, you know what to do. Leave them in the comments section below, and I will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Now, if you guys do like this video and you want more Assassin's Creed content in your feed, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and, of course, subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more coming with Wrath of the Druids in March, and, of course, the Siege of Paris somewhere in 2021. We'd love to have your support. So without further ado, let's dive in and let's get that St. George set. All right, so the first piece of gear we're going to go after is the St. George shield. That's going to be on the River X on the left side at the western fortification. Now, this is the first military target you're going to be storming. It looks like pretty much every other raid style encampment you've ever been to, and that's kind of the theme with the river raids. You're gonna walk into an encampment, there's gonna be a group of enemies there, and you're gonna clear them out as fast as you can. Now, of course, I could show you guys every single second of every single encampment, but then we'd be here for 30 minutes, and that really wouldn't be an efficient use of your time or my time, to be honest with you guys. So we're gonna clear out the first section here, and then we're gonna dip to the back of the encampment, around to this small little side building, sneak up to the top where there is, of course, a gap in the roof. We've seen this only a million times before. We're gonna unlock the door here, let somebody in, and then, of course, there's a chest, and with the chest comes our first piece of the St. George set. This is the shield. Really interesting item. It's got a unique effect that gives you plus 20 to melee damage after a block. Short duration, only 5 seconds, but I could see this being used for some very specific builds. Now, our next item is also on the River X. It's on the eastern side at the eastern fortification, a fitting name, of course. We are going after the St. George Cloak. Now, this location is pretty much the same thing as the western fortification. It's a big settlement with towers, with walls, and of course filled with bad guys. Now, this one is definitely a little bit more jam-packed in terms of how many enemies they fit into some square footage, but you are more than capable of dispatching each and every one of them. The one thing I really do enjoy about the River Raids update is how overpowered the Jomsvikings are. Even the level 1 guys can pretty much tear through anything. And really the only sticker are the Arbalists and the Ballistas. Those will cut through your Jomsviking, but pretty much everybody else, your lieutenants and your henchmen, will just absolutely tear up. You can let them run wild, you can do the work yourself, it doesn't really matter. Now, once you get through all of these bad guys, you're gonna head over to this kind of 2-story building. It looks like a warehouse, I guess, and you're gonna slide on in, and of course, there's a chest there waiting for you. And look at my trusty lieutenant ready to push it open, and that's the St. George's cape. Now, I do want to take an extra second to talk about the effect here of the St. George set. Increases your attack after impaling an enemy. And as the tooltip indicates, you can do this with both spears and two-handed swords. So if you have particular builds that are using either of those items, there may be some application to use the St. George's set. It's a very niche set of gear, but I know a lot of you guys like the spears, and there are some group of you guys who really are passionate about the two-handed swords. Even though I'm not particularly a fan, you may want to consider checking out this set of armor. Okay, now we're moving over to the River Severn. We're looking for 2 items here, and the first we're going after is the bracers at the island camp. This is kind of smack dab in the middle of the map. It's not a big fortification, but once again, you guys will notice it's pretty much a carbon copy, and I do have to say, I'm not a huge fan of the design of the entire River Raid buildings and outposts. I think there's a lot of copy pasta, and ultimately that's kind of lazy. I do agree that it's free content, and we really shouldn't complain that much with free content, especially with the DLC right around the corner, but it does feel incredibly repetitive. And again, you're not meant to grind this all out in one day like I did. I'm a crazy YouTuber, and that's what I do. But take it slow. If you're getting burnt out, just walk away. That's the best thing about this. It's pretty much going to be the same thing over and over. They throw a lot of enemies at you, and they throw a lot of the same enemies at you. As you can see, I'm fighting 3 skirmishers at once. Very strange that there's not a lot of diversity within the enemies that are in these encampments, but that's just kind of what we're working with here. Now, we're going to dispatch as many as we can, let our Jomsviking do work as well. As you can see, I'm using a lot of fire damage. I think that's probably your best bet for dealing with these. There's just so many enemies, and the fire abilities work wonders when it comes to cutting down large groups of enemies. But once you do that, you're going to make your way to, of course, this massive structure in the back. This is a cool building. I will give them props on this building. I do really like this. And about halfway up on the side there, you're going to see kind of like a platform staircase thing. Just climb on up there, and of course your Jomsviking will be waiting for you so you can open the chest. And like I said, this is for the bracers. I think this is the first time you guys are going to see this structure. I believe it's a new prefab in the River Raid updates. I do like it, but you will see it again, but I promise next time I'll jump off it or do something crazy. So once you get inside this small little storeroom here, open up the chest and you will get the St. George's bracers. We did just talk about the 2-piece bonus, but let's talk about the 5-piece bonus this time. It's kind of strange. There's actually a little tooltip error as far as I can tell. Getting the 5-piece bonus with the St. George set increases your speed by an additional amount. I can't really tell how much that is. Moving right along to the lowland camp. This is on the eastern side of the River Severn. This is a cool little camp. I actually think this was one of my favorites. It kind of reminded me of like a logging settlement. It's kind of tucked in a swath of cut down trees, and I know we've seen a million of these at this point, but I just thought it was really cool, kind of carved out of the woods and the mountains here. And I don't know, I'm just trying to find the bright spots here in the River Raids update. I know a lot of people are upset about them, but I'm a positive Pete. I'm trying to be as positive as I can, showcasing all of this stuff to you guys. I actually saw a funny comment about that, saying YouTubers trying to keep as positive as possible, and that's really true. I think we want to enjoy the games that we play, especially the games that we cover, so I'm going to try and keep a positive attitude. So clear out as many enemies as you can. I think I took kind of a counterclockwise approach to this one, swinging around to the right side, and then eventually I worked my way towards the middle, and the chest is actually just sitting here in this kind of semi-open building on the right. So just walk in here. It's kind of like a barn looking building, and of course call over your Jomsviking. Somebody will come over, I hope, as long as they're not bugged. And there you go, the St. George's trousers. Again, at this point you probably have 4 or 5 pieces of gear of the St. George's set, so you are well on your way. Just a couple left, and for the last 3 pieces of gear, we have to go to the River D. This is the final of 3 rivers in the River Raid updates, and this is definitely the most challenging. 3 pieces of gear that we're getting here. The first is the southeastern corner, the Hillview Outpost. Now, through the power of editing, we're going to make this one a little bit snappier because, like I said, we've seen this entire prefab before. So we're going to clear out this main section very, very quickly. And I promised you guys I would jump off a tower, so here you go. This is how we're going to kind of ground ourselves. We do have that giant building again behind us. That's exactly where you want to locate yourself. And then swing down this staircase here and duck around the corner. You're going to have to break a wood wall. There's also a staircase on the opposite side you can go down, and boom, another chest. This is going to reward you with the St. George's Great Helm. I know a lot of people are pissed off that the St. George set looks like the Thane's armor. Honestly, I'm okay with it. I really like the color scheme. I do like that you can upgrade this set to look cooler. And hey, we've still got 2 pieces to go, so keep your sassy comments to yourself. We're heading to Deeberry this time. This is an interesting little location at the northeastern part of the map. This is the one that was bugged for me. I had a really hard time getting this one to respawn. It's kind of that sprawling encampment that we saw before. You're just going to clear out as many enemies as you can. This one is jam-packed, so do your best to not die. Don't let your Jomsvikings die. Eventually, you will clear everything out. And of course, this one was the last chest that I actually found in this area. Swing around to this tiny little building, and right on the inside there is the St. George's armor. Not sure why it took me so long to get this Deeberry location to work, but there you go. Really cool piece. Kind of combines the old aesthetic of white and red, which I really love. All right, our final piece of gear is definitely the most challenging to obtain. We're heading to Diva Victrix. This is in the northern part of the River D. This is a massive fortress that kind of takes a dogleg left to this stone citadel that's across a drawbridge. And guys, I gotta tell you, this one took me 3 attempts to do, mainly because of all the arbalists and ballistas. Like I said earlier, your Jomsviking are good with the standard soldiers, whether it be, you know, the guys with swords or the guys with pikes, but when it comes to archers, they are not great. So I used Focus of the Nornir a lot in this section. I rushed as fast as I could to all of these arbalists so that they wouldn't tear apart my Yams Vikings. If you're trying to be efficient, you're not going to stop and get a ton of rations. You're going to do your best to find rations along the way, and it was just a huge pain. Now, this will take you a hot minute, probably 10 to 15 minutes, just to clear out all of these guys, depending on your difficulty. If you beeline straight to the end, your Yams Viking are going to die, and you're going to see. It's really valuable to have them alive at the end of this thing. Once you get to the drawbridge, just cross on over using the tree branch on the left, knock down the drawbridge. Your Yams Viking will find a way around regardless. Clear out the couple guys here. As you can tell, I am not great when it comes to dealing with these flail guys. They give me such a problem. I have no idea why, but of course I rely on my handy fire to take care of it. And once you clear out all of these enemies, we finally get a little bit of something special with a little mini boss inside of the citadel here. Now, the cool thing about the mini boss is that it is a unique element of the river raids. The thing that kind of takes the challenge away is that your Yams Viking can get involved in the fight. So while I thought it was going to be a new boss fight, and you know me, I love boss fights, this guy is sitting there. He's got this massive two-handed sword. He kind of looks like a dork, I'm not going to lie. He almost does like the Rock Bring It On thing. But, you know, your Yams Viking's there to back you up as always. There it is. There's that Bring It On. It's just super corny, but, you know, it's a game. So the fight starts right away, and in Ubisoft fashion, he just kind of bum rushes you out of the gate. Not a lot of parryable moves. Most of his moves are red moves, which means you have to dodge them. And as you can see, my Yams Viking's just sitting there, and boom, he gets involved, and look how much damage he does. Just want to show you guys, like, I do a fraction of the damage that he does. I think they're going to scale down or tune down the Yams Viking. I'm not sure. These guys are all level 1, and they are absolutely wrecking shop. We just tore through the champion. No weak points, no nothing. And of course, when you kill him, you do get to confirm that kill, and your reward for doing so is the St. George's Holy Sword. And honestly, guys, this is the most viable two-handed sword that I think we've talked about on the channel here. You guys know I like the Blacksmith Hammer. Well, the St. George's Holy Sword is pretty much the same thing. Your heavy critical hits knock enemies to the ground. I really like that effect. You can use this weapon in your offhand if you want the great sword effect. And there you have it. That is it. You've got the entire set of St. George's gear. Again, if you guys have any questions about anything that we talked about today, please do let me know in the comments section. And as always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us on Discord. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.